season, but we got to talk about Ja Morant first and foremost and what this man's been doing for the Memphis Grizzlies. Third-year player, and I don't think words can even describe what this man's been doing. He's been playing 2K in real life out on that court. Like I said, 52 points versus the San Antonio Spurs the previous night, 46 versus the Chicago Bulls. How do you evaluate Ja Morant and what he's been doing these last couple of weeks? And then also, I mean, are you a believer in Ja Morant leading this team somewhere deep in the playoffs?
Absolutely. I think he can. Maybe a Western Conference Finals if everything checks out for them. I mean, we've seen it before with the young teams. We saw last year with Trae Young and the Hawks. They had that great season and then ended up getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and they faced against the champion Bucks. But I'm looking at Ja's number from since February 2nd, bro. I mean, he's on a tear. I mean, 23, 9-4, 33, 7-5, 35-7, 23, 6-4. He had a 44-point game in there and a loss against the Blazers before the All-Star break. And of course, we all know what he's done in these last 2 games. I mean, this dude is amazing. And like I said last podcast about the whole Zion thing, man, it really sucks because the reason why people consider Zion a bust is because we see the production from Ja Morant. But man, this dude, like we saw last night, Allen Iverson tweeted out a picture of the MVP he won back in like 01, I believe, or 02.
Yeah.
And he put the jersey on it of Ja Morant and said sooner or later. And it's coming, bro. I mean, like, it's crazy that Memphis had a collectively group team with the Grind City.
Grit and Grind.
Grit and Grind. I said Grind City, but Grit and Grind team with Conley, Tony Allen,
Zach Randolph,
Marc Gasol,
Tony Allen,
a couple other guys too,
yeah.
But. And, everybody didn't know with a small market team like the Memphis Grizzlies, they would be able to bounce back from that because, Zebo and Mark and Conley was a trio to lead the Memphis Grizzlies for, some deep playoff runs, right?
Yeah, give the Spurs a lot of trouble.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for the Warriors that might have made it to the, Western Conference Finals and the Clippers and whatnot too. But, I mean, to get somebody like Ja, a franchise guy and a possible face of the league in the next 3 to 4 years, arguably going to be the best point guard in the league in the next 10 years, when he's like 33 years old. I mean, this is insane, man. I mean, I'm not going down a whole rant about it, but I remember his draft profile. Like I said, that he could be, and you're gonna think I'm crazy. You're gonna think I'm like, you're gonna laugh at this.
I want to hear this now.
I said he is going to be Russell Westbrook, but with a better IQ. Mm-hmm. And a more, efficient type of player. And
I think that's a very fair comparison.
And that's what you're seeing.
I think that's a very fair comparison.
Same height. They got the athleticism. They have the high scoring ability, the playmaking, the rebounding. I mean, he's literally Russell Westbrook, but with IQ, better IQ and better player efficiency. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said. I don't think there's a single thing in there really I disagree with. I mean, the only thing I have my reservations is, I guess you saying that this team could get at the Western Conference Finals because you kind of compared them to last season's Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks. Mm-hmm. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, last season, I was a believer in the Hawks. Mm-hmm. I was a believer that team could get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. Take out of Philadelphia if they got that matchup, which they did. Mm-hmm. They ended up going to the Eastern Conference Finals. They ended up getting a game or two. Was it 2 games they got on Milwaukee?
It was 2 games.
They beat Milwaukee 2 games also.
Yeah.
So I was actually a believer in them, and they proved me right. I'm not a believer in Memphis, and I'm not taking anything away from them. I love seeing, especially small market teams, coming from a guy who loves small market teams. Orlando. I'm a Jaguars fan. We're both Jaguar fans. Then you got, my dad's from Salt Lake City, so I grew up a Jazz fan. Like, I root for the small market teams. I got nothing against them, but just my personal belief is this team's not ready. And I don't think this team is legit. When we talk about, regardless of Ja Morant being a transcendent superstar, being this Russell Westbrook, but more athletic type of player with a better IQ, that's it to me. They've got solid players from Dylan Brooks and Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams and Desmond Bane, and the list goes on. They really do. And this is very similar to Grit and Grind 2.0. And they're currently a 3 seed in the West. They're 1 game back from the 2 seed from the Golden State Warriors. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Ja Morant scored a career high the last 2 straight outings.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that this team can go and be a top contender in the West when healthy. And that goes with the Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors, the Utah Jazz, and even the Denver Nuggets, which we'll get into later, with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. coming back. Memphis is a great team right now. I think that they're going to be a very tough out. They might even win a playoff series if they get matched up with, another team like Dallas or, maybe like Minnesota or something.
Seed,
yeah, they could definitely get matched up with a team like that. I'm not saying they can't win a series. I'm just saying I'm not putting my money on Memphis to beat Denver, Utah, Phoenix, or Golden State. They're great. They're going to be a tough out. That's just my beliefs on it, regardless of how great Ja Morant's playing.
Yeah. Also another thing with Morant, man, he scored the first 50-point game in Memphis Grizzlies history, man. So
yeah,
the dude's unbelievable.
Over 2,200 games it took Memphis in their entire franchise's history.
That's crazy.
2,200.
Is that counting
playoffs as well? Yes.
And also like the Vancouver Grizzlies as well?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if that
because that's the same franchise, isn't it?
It is, but I don't know if that counted Vancouver because I saw that on Get Up this morning when I was watching.
Yeah,
it was like 2,200 something days that Memphis's franchise.
I can't believe Zebo never went for 50.